Live. So give it a few seconds there to catch up. Smash staff should be able to verify that. Well, it usually takes about 12 seconds. So Eugene, you still there on Discord?
Yep, and I can see that the stream is working. So
all right, perfect.
Now we have an independent way of confirming your issues or someone else's issues.
Yes. So thanks everybody for tuning in. It's we're a little bit late there. Pardon the lateness. It's my fault. I told Eugene that we would start sometime after 1:30, more likely after. So it's on me. Cheers. So welcome to the 2023 year in review, and we've got a great little prominence going on right now, actually. So that's always good. Ta-da! I can't point at it. I've got it now overlapping my non-green screened view. So Eugene, what do you remember about 2023? What exciting science was advanced?
Not much, honestly. I mean, I can tell you about the Nobel Prize in Physics, for example, but there isn't much to tell.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like, if you ask me, okay, it's kind of related to physics, but it's really engineering. And there's this sentiment that in the last 70 or 50 years at least, there have been no advances in physics, fundamental science, and I actually agree with it. And the current Nobel Prize is also from the same kind of area, so it's not really physics, it's kind of engineering. So it's attosecond lasers, which means that you can create really short laser pulses, which helps you to study the structure of matter on a very small scale, like atomic scale. And phase transitions, various, curious phenomena that happens really quickly. So if you have a really quick laser pulse, you can study this. But it's not fundamental science, it has nothing to do with physics proper. It's engineering, basically.
It's more to do with the speed of computers and things, no?
Not even computers, just to study, again, okay, if we go for computer analogy, you have when you create a digital copy of music, right? You need a certain frequency of discretization, you're probing the actual analog, continuous signal with digital strokes,
Right.
So here it's kind of the same. You have some continuous process, let's say some chemical reaction or phase transition, crystallization or melting, and you probe it with some laser pulse. So the shorter you have this laser pulse, the better you can get an idea of the actual continuous process, if that makes sense. So the reason, for example, that this is completely unrelated.
You're getting a shorter time duration snapshot of the whatever you're trying to
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's a good analogy. Yeah,
it's like a temporal resolution shift, essentially, achieved by the laser pulse.
Yeah, so for any photographers, it's kind of the exposure time,
Right.
So if you have a really long exposure time, everything would be super white, if you're looking at a very brief process. You're just gonna capture all the background lights and everything else, right?
Is that the same guys that the slow-mo guys filmed? I don't know if you're familiar with that channel or not, but there's a great channel called the Slow-Mo Guys, and they took video of laser pulses at an I forget what it was, 500 billion or something frames per second or something.
Yeah, through a Coca-Cola bottle or something.
Yeah, that was the final one they did, but the most impressive one to me was the one where the light bounced around between the gates. They were like little gate. There's like a little maze, and when they shined the pulse through, the speed was so fast that it looked like little ghosties bouncing around. You could see the light, the laser pulse bouncing from mirror to mirror and making its way through this little light maze. So fantastic.
Yeah, well, It's totally not the same, guys. That much I can tell you. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I
but
mean, I think that was at a different place than where they did the fastest one. I think they had to go to a different place to do the one you're talking about, where they had like milk in a Coke bottle or something, so that they could get a good contrast for the laser going through the milk. That was the highest speed one they did, but that wasn't the same one that they shined a light through the little light maze. I think it was a different like university or something.
Could be. So these lasers are not only good because they allow you to, let's see, kind of probe these very weird small scale processes with a good precision, but also like really short pulse lasers are good because they allow you to have a lot of power, which means like a lot of energy per unit of time, you know? So if you have the same energy stored in your laser, like a capacitor feeding this laser, but you shorten the duration of the pulse, so power is energy divided by time, right? So the shorter your time is of your pulse, the more compressed this energy in temporal sense is. So, and certain physical phenomena depend on the power rather than on the total energy, if that makes sense, right? So it also opens some really interesting possibilities. But then again, so this is the Nobel Prize of 2023 in physics, but then again, it's engineering, if you ask me. Like, it's just developing better lasers, right? The theory of lasers, okay, you can give like it's legit physical Nobel Prize, you know, but it has been already done in 1960s, okay? It's like what 60 years ago, okay? So
Have you heard the one about there's an experiment that can be done where you do a laser pulse through a highly magnetized is it plasma? I can't remember if it's plasma. A highly magnetized something or other, and you can actually pause the light and then shut off the magnetic fields and unpause the light. It'll get stuck in there.
I think that's like some misinterpretation of what is happening. Like
No.
you cannot really pause the light.
No, it's not. You have to look this up then. It's one of the strangest things. I didn't think that was possible either, but apparently it is.
Well, I haven't seen it.
The way it works is, laser over here, sensor over here, magnetized medium in between. Fire the laser pulse. With the magnetic field off. Fire the laser pulse with the magnetic field on. And there's a way they can do something with the field and the material in the medium that the light will not reach the target, and then turn magnetic field off. Laser pulse gets reached at target. It's a complete stoppage of light.
Like, I don't know. I'm super skeptical about your description, but I haven't seen it. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I mean, I'll look it up at some point and find it for you. I don't like to do too much like Googling and stuff during live streams. It's kind of hacky. You know what I mean?
Why are you saying Googling? You should have said web searching.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe I said that. I should. I get 10 demerits for saying Googling as a verb.
Yeah, wanna tell everyone why is it bad?
I want to obtain biased results about it, Eugene. That's why I was saying Googling. The correct definition of the word Google as a verb is to obtain biased results about something on the internet. Yes.
Not only that, I'll tell you something else. Sometimes you just don't get any results. That's even worse, I would say.
Sometimes you get no results. It's insane. But then again, sometimes you type in really weird stuff and you shouldn't get results because there are no results to get.
Yeah, so I personally encountered this during the Chinese flu, the famous event.
Kung flu. Yeah, I heard of that. I heard of that.
So I've searched for some specific papers. Like I knew the exact name of the papers, and I just title it in Google.
And they're mysteriously not there.
Yes, they're not there. Exactly.
They probably never existed, Eugene. You probably just dreamed it, or it's the Mandela effect, or I'm sure it's not manipulation of the search algorithm or anything. That's impossible. Nobody would do such an unethical thing, Eugene. Pardon my sarcasm.
I know. But from then on, it was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 actually.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So from then on, I switched my default to DuckDuckGo. Not an advertisement. It's just what I use. But
it still has problems too. Google's better for certain stuff. It's insane.
I know.
It's insane.
Yes, I know. That's why I use DuckDuckGo as a default.
Yeah.
But then usually at the same time I go to Google. But if I'm not satisfied with either of those, I go to Yandex, which is the Russian engine. So I basically use 3 engines simultaneously.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
I don't like Bing or whatever, like this American crap. Like, I'm sorry, I mean, I know Google is American crap as well, but
yeah, I mean, we do the same thing except with Bing versus Facebook. Twitter is much more elegant, and it doesn't always look super obvious. Hold on a minute. It doesn't always look super obvious, but on Facebook, it's like really clunky. You know what I mean? Like Facebook is like, I don't know how to explain it. Twitter is more subtle and elegant, but still basically does the same thing as far as deboosting stuff.
I think Twitter is just such a trash bin of humanity. Like, why would you ever want to do anything with it?
Well, because it's a way to be in contact with people. By the way, we got to go to commercial here. Give us a couple seconds.
All right.
So I believe an ad is now playing. So just bear with me a minute here. I'm surprised that it shows me that, but that's pretty cool. And I think we're back. Smash Staff. Are we back? Did you see an ad? Ah, very nice. All right, so I'm impressed by the new console. YouTube audience, I haven't seen the new OBS console. I haven't been streaming much on YouTube, so I haven't seen that. So it's delightful that I can actually give a countdown. I can be like, warning, commercial ad to follow. Warning. The purveyor of these goods and or services does not endorse our channel in any possible way. Yes. Being a living billboard is fun times. Fun times. I've got the golden tie on. See that? The golden tie. That's a New Year's Eve tie. Gotta have that. It's crucial. So, how long until midnight in Minsk? Midnight in Minsk.
An hour and 50. Almost 2 hours.
Smack! Dag. So, have you wished Kimberly Nichols a Happy New Year yet?
Oh, I've forgotten actually. I was kind of busy earlier. Sorry, Kim. My bad.
Kimberly, Happy New Year.
Actually, I'm gonna message her on Facebook right now.
Nice. Eugene is a fearless user of any software. He's a gamer, so like, you know, he's a little bit less finicky than me. So he's actually going to use Facebook Messenger. He plays an RPG. Eugene plays the most deadly game, Life. A deadly video game with just one man, folks.
Yeah, one-man party. It's actually, unironically, it's like less than one person because, you know, you have your internal instincts and shit playing against you, kind of. So
they're like subtracting you as a thing of existence.
Yes, you're only like a fraction of a person trying to just at least like take a hold of your own character in the first place.
You're so diminished by your own failures and little like oddities and habits and behaviors that
By the way, I have a video about it. It's called Inland Empire. It's about Disco Elysium RPG system where you have exactly that. You have basically internal like sub organisms, like almost like demons within you, which correspond to your traits, your personality traits, you know. And I think it's a really good system because it's very realistic. You know, you have a desire to get wasted. You have a desire. You have like a system which is supposed to like make you agile and like just gracious and stuff. You have a system which is like authority, which is like you have to impose presence on people, etc., etc. It's a really good system.
Yeah, I mean everybody has like different amounts of all of these things that you mentioned. I like to think of it like a D&D character sheet. You know, you've got strength, intelligence, dexterity, wisdom, charisma, and
charisma.
Those 6 things are. I mean, it doesn't like describe any of your specific skills, but like if you're an archer, obviously it helps to have a high dexterity, right? So.
In real life, though, archers need strength more than dexterity.
Well, it depends on how much you're shooting.
You're watching Lindy Beige. You should know that war bows need like a significant strength to draw.
Yeah, there's like a strength to range ratio thing going there. So you could incorporate, like if you're like a DM, you could incorporate strength into the type of bow that they're going to use, and you can give them a slight bonus to range and damage.
What do you mean a slight bonus? It's literally your strength transferred into the kinetic energy of the projectile. It's nothing else, literally.
Well, I mean,
you don't need dexterity to hold a bow. It's really simple to hold a bow.
I understand. There are like fancy crossbows that have a ratcheting mechanism on them, which allows you to, it has nothing to do with your strength because it's a mechanical assist, effectively. I mean, you can build
it's a lever, right?
Yeah, it's probably. There's probably different versions of it. The Swiss probably have one that's like bicycle gears or something, so you can like crank it up super easily.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, but yeah, like with a standard longbow, of course, you're gonna have. Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's gonna be like a damage and range bonus for strength. That's the way I would set it up. I don't know if there are rules for that. I only played up to 2nd edition D&D, but I had like entire planes of existence built by the time we were done messing around, where we had like probably about 3 years of one single party going on. So it was getting pretty complicated.
Well, I'm not sure how many people are interested in listening to our current rant, so maybe we switch topic to something else.
Yeah, I mean, most people aren't hardcore gamers like us, so what kind of can anybody tell us in the chat any interesting events that happened in 2023? And while we wait for a response on that, let's talk about my forecast for 2024. It's going to be a living hell when it comes to U.S. politics, because I mean, let's face it, U.S. presidential candidate political ads. You're going to have dreams about political ads. The political ads are going to be they're going to be projected using HARP onto the Schumann resonances. It's going to say like vote for Biden or something in the Schumann resonances, so everybody look for that. Many YouTube channels will, I'm sure, cover it. Just we won't, because I don't find it exciting. And so I have no idea what's occurring, because it's our internet. And I think we're back. I see now that there is bandwidth. So pardon the temporary delay there, folks. It looks like we're having intermittent internet issues. So, Eugene, I can now officially confirm your original hypothesis. Can you hear me again?
Yep. Just when you said that we're back, I heard you back.
Fortunately, OBS, if you look down there, by the way, folks, I'm sharing the screen with Eugene, so Eugene can look down there in the lower right and see the bit rate. It's now back up to about 3,000 kbps, which should be fine. So
yeah, and I can also see all the horny tabs Dan has opened.
Can you?
No, I can't. I just made it up.
I was going to say, you shouldn't be able to see that.
Okay. No. You're fine.
All right, so as far as the happenings in 2023, I mean, I I've got some horrifying things that I could probably bring up, but I don't want to. So, I mean, nope. Let's see. Here's a good one. A request for a forecast for the future. Brent Richards says, Dan, will the FEMA camps be full by October 24? Always good, but it doesn't look like the stream is back. Now we're back, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, the answer is no. The FEMA camps will not be full by October 2024. And why do you ask, Brent? Is that because you're spooked of solar maximum? You know, if there's anything spookier than a sun without enough sunspots, it's one with too many sunspots. Oh, noes. Maybe in about 5 years, Eugene, we can be spooked of a moderately active sun. What do you think?
I mean, in the 5 years, will already be almost at the solar min, so I'm not sure if we'd be spooked.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It depends on how minimal it is. Ooh.
Yeah, we could be spooked by cosmic ray flux for sure.
That's right. Well, if you must look at the peaks of graphs, if you find the peaks of graphs scary, then solar minimum is what you want, because you want to be scared of cosmic ray flux. And if you're scared of the sun directly, then you want to wait. You know, you're not spooked of cosmic ray flux. You're spooked of solar activity. That's solar maximum time. So, you know, it's like, ooh, do I want to be spooked of? Now, some channels viewers are spooked of cosmic ray flux and solar activity, and you know, I have to wonder, like, should I just live in a bunker all the time, or what? What do you think, Eugene? So I don't know if there's maybe a setting that we ought to change on the OBS software. I have no idea how it interfaces.
It seems like it's getting more frequent, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I suspect that we probably just need a router reset. You know, if we reset our modem and because we have two different actually we have 3 Wi-Fi hotspots. So I mean,
maybe the tuck is blocking you from saying bad stuff about it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not super bad. I apologize for every moment where it says loading, folks. At least everybody who's watching the video in syndication, you know, the rerun watchers will at least be able to like fast forward through those little sections, hopefully.
Yeah, I just want to answer the question about bunkers. So I said
bunkers. So I was asking.
If you don't like people, if you can't talk to people like Musk and Zuckerberg and Bezos, then you better have a bunker, because then you can, you know, evade people in the first place. So that's why they're building them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think a bunker is a certain type of financial flex, right? Once you have enough properties, you're like, all right, well, the next step is a bunker. I got to get this pullback location in case civilization completely collapses. You know?
No, I don't think it's about civilization. It's about having a safe space.
It's just about a fortress of solitude. Yeah, okay, but
it's an SJW culture we're living in, right? So people with certain mental issues, they need a place to get away from people, because they cannot talk to people. They cannot act normally, in thick air quotes. So they have to.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess once you reach a certain level of celebrity too, it starts to become an issue, right? Because when you reach a certain level of celebrity, you can't go anywhere without being recognized and possibly annoyed by people constantly, right?
Yeah, so Brent is saying in the chat that Elon Musk is going to Mars for his bunker. And I wonder why. Because, there is a place very much like Mars right here. It's called Antarctica. It's very far away. It's very cold, just like Mars. You can't really go outside without, any significant,
He could absolutely
protection.
Start a science project and just go move to Antarctica. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? He could very easily do that. He would have to start a science project in order to do it, but that would it would be simple. He'd be less regulated probably than he is in the U.S., so it would be like a Shangri-La for him, I suspect.
Well, unfortunately, Antarctica is already divided by national states, and I'm not sure U.S. is part of it. I know Norway.
It's not owned by anybody. I thought it was like
No.
Science preserve.
No. It's divided by countries. There's
It
a
is?
Norway part. Yeah, there's an Australian part, I think. Like, look it up. Like, it's very like shady, and actually, Antarctica is incredibly shady in law terms, because on certain stations, certain people have mysteriously died, and the legislation is really weird because, like, what are you gonna do? Who's gonna be responsible for it? Who's gonna like make a investigation, etc., etc.? Like, it's incredibly shady. I'm telling you.
I know it's the highest and driest continent.
Yep, and actually, it's much richer in natural resources than Mars or any of the asteroids, and somehow, nobody cares.
Are there like minerals? Is there like fossil
Well,
fuels? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of fossil fuels. You just have to dig deep enough, which is a problem. Like, it's a couple of kilometers of ice, between you and fossils. So, yeah.
all right, there's the
But yeah,
geography.
it's just as remote as Mars, and I'm being sarcastic here because it's right here, like 2,000 kilometers away, not 200 million kilometers
Yeah, I know.
away.
My
And
favorite.
people still go insane on these bases in Antarctica and kill each other and kill themselves.
Nice.
Like,
That's a good. That makes for a good
unironically.
movie.
Well, we've seen, like, whatever the instrument is called. Whatever the instrument is called. You take a bit of ice inside and you melt it.
You melt it, and then you inhale a bacteria that turns you into
The
one of
thing.
Elon Musk's children. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. No. No.
No, the thing would be hotter than Elon Musk.
The thing, you turn into a disembodied hand, and you just wait. No, that's thing. That's not the
The
thing.
thing.
That's thing,
John
not the thing.
Carpenter. Yeah.
Right? No, no. I know the thing. I definitely watched that probably more than once. So
Oh,
yeah. So
nice.
let's get back to my scrolling here as I want to see
Cool.
this stuff about who owns Antarctica.
Yep.
I could have sworn I just read about this because if you look at my large Facebook page, it actually has Antarctica as my location. Is that Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys? No, I guess not. Population. Politics. Regulated by the 1959 Antarctic Treaty and other related agreements, collectively called the Antarctic Treaty System.
Yeah, and let's not forget, can I say the N word from four letters on the stream, or you
The N,
you would get demonetized?
the N word. I don't know.
The N word with 4 letters.
Nova, the
Ending.
PBS TV show. I don't know what N word.
No. Starts with N, ending with I. 4 letters.
I'm not good at
You
this
know what
kind
I'm
of thing.
talking about. Okay, the Austrian painter base in Antarctica.
World War II's favorite fascists.
Okay, you said it yourself.
I
Okay.
don't know if are we allowed to say the F word?
No,
say
the
the
N
four-letter
word. I
F word. Yeah.
said the 4-letter N word.
Yeah, one of the most important cults of the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah, the guy with the mustache.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, so what about the guy with the mustache's henchman who went down there to do a thing? You're going to tell some crazy story about they like created this one base there or something that was all the way at the South Pole or something like that, right?
No, I just wanted to like comically comment that there's allegedly the base of the Austrian painter in Antarctica. Notice how many of the Austrian painter's henchmen end up in Argentina, and there's a huge swath of Antarctica owned by Argentina.
And now we're right back to NASA because
Oh.
Operation Paperclip as well as Prescott Bush.
Yeah, but notice there's no part of Antarctica owned by the US. So
I thought the whole
You-
thing was like dedicated to scientific research or something, and dedicated.
No.
Unclaimed territory. There's one bit.
There are two bits.
Land. Look at
two bits.
That's
two
where
bits.
Elon. That's where Elon can build his fortress of solitude, dude. Right there, the Marie Birdland.
So my point is, like, before you colonize Mars, can you colonize Argentina, please?
Dude,
because
we don't even
it's kind of the same.
Yeah, we don't even know how to like well utilize Earth's resources. So the idea that we can like go exploit the resources on Mars is just the pinnacle of arrogance and ignorance. If it's not, humans can drastically change Earth's temperature.
Yep. I agree on all of these things.
Completely ridiculous. Yeah, look at that. So there's like this little strip, and like everybody owns a little slice from the coast to the South Pole. So like just in case everybody wants to meet up at the South Pole, they can all go stand 1 foot apart from each other, and say we are still on our own property.
Mm-hmm. There is an international station at the very South Pole.
That is bizarre. I didn't realize that. I thought the whole entire thing. Why does Australia have so much claim to Antarctica? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Hunt scorpions there? I mean, what?
Yeah, colonize it with kangaroos. I mean, ask.
I guess you could put a hell of a farm there if you could heat it.
Ask Kim. She knows.
You could put an awesome farm there if you could heat it, probably, right? If you had like unlimited electricity or something, you could freaking have all kinds of artificial lighting and things and heating and so on.
Yeah, well, Greta tells us that Antarctica is gonna melt in like 2 years. So
did anybody tell Greta? Ads are going to play in 20 seconds. So be prepared, folks. Be prepared. Pardon the intermittent outages. I mean, I didn't know I was going to have to restart our entire internet, which is blazingly fast, by the way, folks. We have Verizon Fios, and it is like 300 megabytes per second upload and download speeds. So there's no excuse for it. I'm sure our routers just need a reset. And pardon my not paying attention to the chat, as it seems to have a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with the 2023 year in review. So I don't know.
Does our discussion have anything to do with it?
Well, yeah, I mean, and of course that time we got cut off when I said, has anybody told Greta that Antarctica's ice sheets formed when the planet was 3 degrees Celsius warmer than it is in 2023?
I haven't heard about it. Honestly, I would say it's bullshit, just because how do you know? Were you there? This Napoleon movie.
Ice course.
What Ridley Scott said. Have you been there? Did you see that? How can you say it?
Imagine being at Antarctica 40 million years ago, when there was liquid water there and a bunch of weird Permian life forms. Dude.
You sure it's 40 million?
Well, I don't know. No, I'm not sure.
I think it's much earlier, honestly.
It could be, but it would be a hell of a crazy environment. That's my point. If you were there whenever that occurred.
I mean, from my high school years, actually middle school years, I remember that Antarctica actually has a lot of like tropical fossils.
Yes.
Buried under the shit, but I don't know how early it was. Well, that depends. That depends on your model, right? How hard, how fast can Earth freeze?
Yes.
For this condition.
That's true. I don't know if radioisotopes are most certainly involved. I suspect, but it's believed to be about 35 million years.
Well, my current stance on this.
You don't believe isotopic dating because if there are drastic changes to the environment, then it's going to completely change the half-lives of things?
No, because elemental transmutation is ubiquitous on Earth, everywhere.
Elemental transmutation?
Exactly.
Please elaborate.
One element turning into another element.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I just know I've seen a lot of evidence that it's ubiquitous. Like,
You're talking about evidence in the geologic strata?
no, I'm talking about evidence of everyday life. Like chickens not having enough calcium and still producing calcium-full
Oh,
eggs
yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah,
And
like
it's not only living beings, mind you.
like
Again,
there's like hidden fusion and fission going on that, and we're like, how can that be?
exactly,
Where
exactly,
are the gamma rays? Where are the X rays? Like, how is that happening,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
I
no,
actually
that
have
is
an
awesome.
idea. I actually have an idea why there's no gamma rays, but it's a long story. I'm not
Chernikovs,
sure. We
there's no
need
way
to
to measure
discuss
it
it
because it would
here.
be so local to the source that you just never wouldn't see it.
No, no, there's just no X-rays or gamma rays, period. Because, look, the common theory of the fusion reactions says that it's chaotic. Okay, it's based on quantum mechanics, and quantum mechanics, like our regular quantum mechanics, is chaotic. And it says, okay, you have a bunch of energy produced with this reaction, and this energy has to be dumped somewhere. And since we're doing this reaction in a vacuum, this reaction has to produce a photon, the gamma ray photon, which would have like a mega electron volt energy, which would make it a gamma photon.
I'm acting this out.
But
Gamma
but
ray
if the
photons.
yes, but if the same reaction happens in a medium, like a metallic lattice or an organic cell, there's plenty of places to put this energy into rather than a gamma ray photon. It's not a vacuum, you know?
Yes,
So
yes.
it just produces the vibrations of the nearby atoms. Maybe tens of thousands of
No,
atoms.
wait. How does this happen? Can you say that again? I got I spaced out or something. What happened? How is this?
Can you formulate your question just from start to finish? What
How
happens?
how do, how does this transmutation happen without any radiation?
Well, I just currently explained why there is no radiation. I didn't tell you how the transmutation happened in the first place, okay? I just told you why we don't see any radiation. That was my point. Because I don't know how it happens. I just know it does because the evidence is like super prevalent.
Yeah,
Like
no, for sure. Like
just
in biological systems, like what you said, like that's the chicken egg one
not
is
not
a
only not only
yeah. How is everybody making all these funky chemicals all the time? Yeah, there's evidence of the same thing in human biology. I'm sure. I just don't know specifically what chemicals and
mm, well, okay, I guess it would tell you no, you need insane pressures, temperatures, all kinds of stupid crap. But this is not the case. It's just erroneous, I think.
yeah. So there's some way that these processes can happen, perhaps without the environment that it's currently believed is required for it to happen, or something.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like returning to our macro topic, for me, this was the biggest discovery of 2023. Like for me personally, is that I've
Macro?
actually. What do you mean?
Did you say
Like for
mackerel?
me,
Oh,
I don't
macro.
know. Yeah, like
I
for
thought you said
me
mackerel, like the
personally.
fish.
Oh no.
Like
Well, I have
mackerel.
another thing to say about this fish, but anyways, for me personally, 2023 was the year when I realized finally that all the evidence of elemental transmutation is actually real. And like I have to stop denying it because it's so ubiquitous, it's so obvious that you just can't deny it, honestly.
So what about when you discovered? Wasn't it just this year sent me a message on Discord. I don't know if you want to disclose this on the live stream or not.
Again, I know for sure that these cold fusion reactions in metallic lattices are viable and easy to acquire.
So now,
Okay.
what you're saying is that cold fusion is no longer a pseudoscience term, but it's a thing that should be sought after.
I'm not operating under these terms, pseudoscience or not. I don't care. Like
Okay,
if it works, it works.
Well, okay, yeah, I got you. But I mean, the point is,
Like whatever I was taught in the university, like in the last year. Okay, another big thing actually. Let's return to the big topic. What have I learned in 2023 is that Maxwell's electrodynamics is wrong.
that's what it was. Maxwell's electrodynamics. I said
So-
Ohm's law. Well, Ohm's law is in there, right?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
All right.
So basically at this point, in this last year, I kind of lost all the major theories I believed in. By the way, quantum mechanics is also wrong, and conservation of energy is wrong. That's what I genuinely believe right now. And now I'm just a free thinker, Like I just lost all of it, like all of the dogmas of the past, so to speak. I mean, it sounds kind of preposterous or whatever.
You've met Yoda. You've unlearned
Yeah,
what
yeah.
all you have learned, or something.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it happens sometimes, man. Congratulations on that, because the more your brain hurts, the more you've learned.
And look, let's say 7 years ago, I've seen all the evidence that transmutations are real. But I was just telling them, guys, you're doing your experiments wrong. Like, basically, my point was, you're wrong because my theory says this is not possible. Okay? But this is a bad argumentation. If the experiment says this is right, then maybe your theory is wrong. If the theory says that this cannot happen.
We have to say it constantly on the channel, man. We say it constantly on the channel. I mean, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, first of all. But, if all of the data refutes your theory, abandon your theory.
Exactly. This is what I've learned in this year, and I think this is such a huge but unfortunately for me, yeah, no,
you were in a
but,
PhD program like
No,
2
no.
years ago. You just learned that this year.
Dude, this year I've lost. Look, I'm kind of bending my fingers. Maxwell's electrodynamics, which I was taught my whole life is the most accomplished, best theoretical description ever. So it's dead. Then relativity, because
It's settled science, Eugene. It's settled science, I tell you.
Triplets paradox destroys relativity. And okay, goodbye here. Then I've lost quantum.
I've seen more stable connections on 56K dial-up modems, Verizon Fios.
Okay. You're back, FYI.
Yes. So, did you hear me say, look out, there's an ad coming?
Yes.
Okay,
that's
perfect.
the last thing I've heard, actually.
All right. Well, that kind of worked out good. Maybe the viewers saw an ad instead of seeing a loading screen.
All right. So, wait, how many fingers were there? Maxwell, Einstein, quantum mechanics, right?
You're talking about theories that went in the toilet for you over 2020?
Well, I was listening. Yes. Those are 3 already. So the 4th is the nuclear theory, the general, nuclear chemistry, etc. So you see, my whole world just went into the toilet,
Yeah,
in this year.
But this is good news for you. You know why?
Because now I know it's garbage, and I need to find a better theory.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
no longer in the woods. I'm seeking an exit out of it. Yeah.
It indicates there is legit science to be done. So this is always a good thing. It's like if somebody should suddenly figure out that stars are made of condensed matter instead of gaseous plasmas, what does that do to cosmology? Well, a lot of people are very spooked because they've dedicated decades and decades of research. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all the stuff that they did is just useless nonsense. It's just that it might not apply to cosmology the same way it seems to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are all good things because these are indications that there's plenty of actual science to do, folks. Like, only the most ignorant and arrogant people think that humans know everything. Oh, we know how everything works, dude. Like, we know what's deep inside the sun. We know what's deep inside Sagittarius A star. We know what's deep inside M87. It's spooky in there. There's infinite gravity because reasons. As if that's a thing that you can have. It's got infinite mass in that part of space because spooky. Like,
Yeah.
It's like math in search of observations. Like, we can't see into a black hole, but what's happening is this.
Okay, I think I've rambled enough. Can you share any of your own highlights from 2023?
My highlights. Yeah, I don't have very many highlights. I mean, it was like a year of like financial catastrophe for the first about 8 months of the year. Because I got unexpectedly laid off from my extremely crooked insurance brokerage. And then
I think your viewers would like to hear about that because...
maybe. I definitely never mentioned it at all on the channel. But I had this relatively corrupt employer who will remain unnamed, which allows me to say anything I want about them without getting sued over it. So, but anyway... Yeah, I got unexpectedly laid off on the last day of January, which means I had less than 24 hours before my health insurance was cut off because it was, employee health insurance. Then Pennsylvania unemployment failed to pay me anything for over 6 months. So that was fun. Later they would send me a five-figure backed benefits payment because it was just because of a little glitch in their software that caused it to not recognize my birth date, which prevented me from creating a claim. So that was a fun 6 months, and I didn't starve and or die, so that was nice. And then I got a killer job in a completely different industry, and that was good. So the year ended very well, economically speaking, and started out horrendously. I've recently left the insurance industry, so I'm still probably licensed in like 28 states for life and health insurance. And I said, bye! I'm not doing this anymore. So I'll probably let my licenses lapse again because the licensing test is so pathetically simple that I probably wouldn't have to study for it anyway. It's just like the licensing tests for insurance licenses in Pennsylvania is just like to weed out the stupidest people who have no idea what an insurance contract is involved with. So that's what's happened. And then let's see. I had some of my own ideas entirely debunked. So that was shocking but also liberating because now basically the space weather is hanging on by a thread like a legit weather forecast because it's and thanks.
Yo, you're here again.
Yeah, so what I was saying was I guess I didn't tell viewers anything about that stuff because, well, Eugene and I actually we've sort of planned to make a video. I don't know if he still agrees to do this or not, but my crap... Okay, and now we're back again.
Yes.
So what I was saying was the economic straits will probably lead to bike racing again. I'll probably head back to the bike racing scene in 2024, which will further change the daily space weather content because Thursdays there'll be an issue on Thursdays. There might not be any video at all on Thursdays because of because of training requirements, doing a training race that occurs every week throughout race season. So all kinds of changes will happen with the channel. And don't be surprised to see the daily space weather content just go away completely, because there's absolutely no financial incentive whatsoever for it. It's basically a business which runs at a $70,000 a year annual operating loss. It's actually a little more than that, but I haven't added up the rest of the stuff. So, it's at least a $70,000 a year annual operating loss. And I suspect we'll probably even fill out the W-6 form this year so that we can actually cite that as a real operating loss, because it's very easy to calculate. Smash staff and I know exactly how much time we spend per day and how much money we ought to make per hour for stuff like video production and writing content and doing social media stuff. So, yeah, the $70,000 a year operating loss is just simply labor costs. So that doesn't include any overhead like space rented, like electricity, internet bill, and so forth. So, yeah, the amount of cash that comes into the channel based on monetization, memberships, merch sales, Amazon, all of that stuff is, I don't know, how much of a percent, Smash staff? Like something like less than 1% offsetting our annual operating loss. So there you go. There's our balance sheet, folks. There's our balance sheet. So, cheers. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but it's we sort of anticipated that our YouTube channel would probably have 80,000 subscribers by now, at least. So, it's the daily space weather content is hanging on by absolutely nothing.
Well, that's sad to hear, man.
What can I say? I mean, I started sharing the content because it was what I wanted to see, because I watched charlatans and people who don't understand the most basic high school level physics create utter nonsense about space weather. I was like, ew, I can't watch this utter trash. And then I said, here's what I would look at, because I understand enough of the physics that these are the things that I would look at. These are the things that are available. That's why we show the tabs we show every day on the channel. It's like if I wanted weather from a space down to Earth perspective, this is what I'd look at. So that's why they exist. It's, it's like a public service. But it's frankly a public pain. By the way, this time we've got an ad coming in 20 seconds.
All right.
So... yeah, so I mean, I guess those are some things about 2023. There are some other things that I don't even want to share on this stream because they're too personal. But
yeah, it's fine. I mean, one thing I don't want to share with anyone.
Yeah.
Except you. But
yeah, I know. And you were. Hold on, Eugene. We've got ads inserted.
Okay.
Okay, Smash staff says there's no ad, so I don't know. The thing told me there was going to be an ad, but didn't play an ad, so... That's Google. That's all I have to say is, that's Google. Google. It likes to promote disinformation and nonsense. So, and this is something maybe I should bring up, too, at this point. The reason that our thumbnails and our titles are so hyperbolic all the time is basically... it's a mockery. It's a spoof of YouTube itself. So that's why they're designed that way. Because everywhere you look, I mean, with instant questions. So if a big space weather channel makes some ridiculous claim, then I'll be answering questions about that claim for a week. We can't not watch those ridiculous channels because we have to know what the people who don't understand basic physics are saying about space weather.
Well, I think that this may be if I'm being honest, this may be the flaw of your strategy inherently, because Maybe you have to promote your own like positive message instead of like debunking in thick air quotes like some other idiots.
Yeah, I was. I
Like,
thought I explained the solar sunspot cycles. That's now gone. So there you go.
yeah.
That's
Well,
exactly what I was. That's
actually, you
exactly what I was doing,
froze.
Eugene. That's exactly what I was
Yes,
doing. But I'm not doing that anymore. So
you know that I know it really well. But this is exactly what you were saying when you froze, because you were proposing me to like participate in a separate episode on this particular topic. But
yes.
you froze at this exact
Oh
moment.
yes, yes. Okay, so thank you, and thanks everybody for viewing through the constant internet disconnections. But for whatever reason that is, so yeah, Eugene and I are planning a video about my crap theory, CRAPF. I've mentioned it many times on the channel, and we're going to elaborate on that soon. At least for Gold Smash Team members, because Gold Smash Team members already have heard the basis for it and sort of the basic premise, which is what Eugene was tasked with finding further evidence of. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give any more details than that, because this is part of this contingency is part of the reason why only Gold Smash Team members were read in the first place. So thanks to Gold Smash Team members, because I was interested in advancing the science, and of course I still am. It's just not via the avenue that I was on. You know, this is one of those things where when all of the evidence doesn't back up your when all of the evidence directly refutes your hypothesis, you should abandon it. So I mean, this is a thing that, like, I don't know if this is lost on a lot of modern science, but I mean, look at the past 3 years. I'll just say that. Look at the past 3 years, and I'll say it again. When all of the evidence goes directly against your hypothesis, I'm not saying it's got nothing to do with your hypothesis. When it directly refutes your hypothesis, all of it, bar none, please abandon the hypothesis, especially if there's lots of evidence.
If I may, I want to
Please.
comment on this. So,
Yes, please.
Dan told me a lot about his hypothesis. Basically, he kind of outlined it to me and asked me to research it. And okay, I may not be able to share all the details, but I'll just say I was really kind of perplexed. I was surprised. Surprised would be the best word, actually, by his honesty. Like, he actually did the right thing. Okay, I would end it at that.
Well,
So
thank you.
it was very honest of him what he did, and it was very correct morally, and it was
Yes.
I was actually surprised. So
I
it was,
sleep well at night by having these kind of ethical values in my life, Eugene. You know, this is the reason why I have 0 enemies.
okay. I mean, you did the right thing. Yes.
Well, thank you.
I agree.
Yeah, well, that's you know, the right thing isn't necessarily the exciting thing that's worthy of creating content for. But the point I was making is that we will make a video about it. Maybe we'll release it onto regular everyday YouTube for everyday YouTube freeloaders who pay us absolutely nothing to create any content to see. But I definitely want to make one for at least the Gold Smash Team members. And by the way, you know, we haven't been making a whole lot of exclusive content for Smash Team members. I mean, this is something that's going to change a little bit in 2024. We're going to have more and more custom, you know, content that's just for silver levels, just for gold level. There will even be some stuff, once again, just for bronze level. You know, because we have 3 levels there: bronze, silver, and gold. There's a gold annual paid up subscription level, which gives you the same thing but it's like getting 4 months of gold for free, basically, more or less, as there's complimentary merch involved. And but anyway, that's not going away. Now, as far as premium content on YouTube, we ain't got none. You know, we have a subscription. If you want to just pay some, whatever it is, $3, $2.99 a month or whatever it is on YouTube for the subscription, we may put content there. Okay, so we're back again. Cheers.
Yep.
Hey, so what I was doing is throwing my hands up and saying, to quote Jeremy from Pure Ownage. If you've ever watched Pure Ownage, Eugene, you should absolutely watch Pure Ownage. You'd probably like it. It's a ridiculous.
You've sent me some videos and I hated them.
It's a ridiculous Canadian sitcom about gamers, and it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, but to quote Jeremy, you can lead a noob to water, but you can't make a noob drink. Right? Am I right?
I've heard the same saying in Russian, which is like you can
lead a horse to water.
Yes.
Yeah. It's based on that, but that's why it's so funny.
International, obviously. Yeah. Okay. There's, it's sexist, but there's a similar saying about girls. Like you can take the girl from the village into town, but you would never leave. Take the village out of a girl.
Yeah. You can take the
person.
Yeah, you can take the human out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the human.
Yes.
But that's not true, though. That's not true. You know what I mean? That's that's one of those things like what Joe Biden says all the time. Just because it sounds cool, it's got, it almost rhymes or something, so people just say it whether or not it's reality. It's not true. Like, some people are completely...
I think it is more true than you believe.
It depends. It depends on when the person exits that environment.
True.
Because you're not you when you're 12 years old. Like, when you were 12, you're not you. You're not your current you.
Yeah, but...
And not just because of cosmic ray flux causing genetic mutations. I'm talking about because your brain's not fully formed yet, and, it's different with men and women, because men really aren't mentally mature till they're like 25. Women are a little earlier than that, so there's differences with how mental illness is diagnosed, for example. If you're not diagnosed as a nut by the time you're 25 years old, chances are you won't be diagnosed as a nut, assuming some other event doesn't happen, like some other pathogenesis or head injury or something like that. I mean,
I would heavily disagree with your previous points. But
Phineas Gage had a tamping iron go right through his limbic system. It went right in his face or something. And
is this the railway guy?
He had a tamping. Yeah. He an explosive went off and a tamping iron was left in the rock that they were blowing up or something, and a tamping iron went through his skull or something. And it didn't kill him.
What does it have to do with our discussion? We're talking about upbringing, the family, the early experiences.
Well, I was saying if you're not diagnosed with being crazy by the time you're 25, chances are you won't get diagnosed. I mean, I used to be a psych major, so I have a lot of expertise on this. I'm not just making this stuff up, Eugene.
My point is that if he was an adult and he got some brain injury, it means it's fine.
Yeah, it supports what I just said, that he didn't go crazy because of his, at an advanced age. It was because of a head injury. It cut his brain in half. Your brain has a system in between the left and right.
Oh, okay.
Between the left and right, there's a thing called the reticular switching network or something. It's how the right and left brain talk to each other. And it appears that if that gets severed, it affects your ability to control your emotions and things. Because Phineas Gage turned into a nut. He would fly into a crazy rage, and I think he... Okay, we're back, and what I was trying to get to is the point that part of the reason why I say space is a frontier is because the human brain is a frontier that is completely not explored yet at all. There's all kinds of weird stuff with the brain that's not understood. So that's another frontier.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, the brain... Why are we talking about the brain in the first place? People have memories without the brain in the first place, so... I mean...
Yeah, organ transplant patients, they have psychic powers from the person whose heart they got or something.
No, it's not even that. It's like like concentrating a property of a person in like the fact that the organs are where they are. It's just because the cells agreed to be, specialized. But essentially, all of the cells of your body are the same in terms of their genome. So, do you know?
Yeah, the DNA is
The brain
except for
is
sex
not any
cells.
different. Wait. The brain is not any different from your like toe,
In terms of
large
the
toe.
DNA, yeah, that's
Your large toe has the same information, hypothetically at least, as your brain.
yes.
Because it's connected to all of the other cells and it has the same DNA. So
Yes,
why
sir.
are we saying that our like psychic capabilities are in the brain? Or not psychic, it's the proper English term.
Psychic.
Psychology, like
Oh.
consciousness,
Uh,
memory. Uh, we know that even inanimate matter has memory, like certain materials. If you like squash them at certain conditions, then like let's say we cool them and then we return them to the same conditions, they return to the initial shape.
just waiting and waiting, and I guess we're
Yeah,
back.
we're back.
Yay, we're back. We got to end this thing. It's getting too long, and
Yeah, let's go.
these constant breaks are just completely destroying my train of thought. I was trying to bring it back to Phineas Gage because the left and right hemispheres of the brain are largely involved in voluntary muscle function. So what you're saying here, sort of does ring true because it's your consciousness is sort of a net thing, right? Because I can feel what's going on my fingertip.
Yeah, what we actually forget as human beings is that we are a collective, We're not a single entity.
Oh yeah.
It's like a 10 to the 14th or 19th power cells,
Yeah, imagine what's going on in your gut flora. You know what I mean? Your gut flora has to
Yes.
have completely foreign entities that
Yes.
aren't you at all. They don't even
Yes.
have your DNA. They're not you at all.
Exactly.
They're like
Exactly.
you're like a parasite to them. Oh, it's really like a
No, no,
symbiotic
no.
relationship,
No,
I
no,
guess,
no.
because
No.
you're
It's a value-based statement,
it's
bro.
a symbiotic relationship, right? You're hosting the
Exactly.
bacteria,
Okay.
and your their byproducts are
Look, it's
beneficial.
like Star Wars with mitochondria.
Yeah.
Not mitochondria.
Midichlorians.
Midichlorians. Midichlorians. Okay, so yeah. So midichlorians in your gut. Okay, so
Yeah.
they may create your consciousness and your connection with the force, but whatever. Anyways, you are a collective.
They're part of your immune system. They kill lots of stuff that ends up in your gut. It's of course there's all kinds of stuff going on down there. It's a little complex.
Not a little complex, I would say. It's hugely complex.
Yeah, I mean you can
Yeah.
even start hosting bacteria down there that lives there just fine, but is extremely bad for you. Like H. pylori is known to cause stomach cancer and other intestinal cancers and things, and it's just fine there, but it messes you up bad. H.
Probably.
pylori. It's you see it all over medical charts. Tested negative for H. pylori. It's a miscreant that can get in there that's similar enough to the regular old gut flora.
Well, hopefully I don't have that, but yeah, sure.
If you do, all you do is you just take broad spectrum antibiotics, you kill off all your gut flora, and then you eat some yogurt. It's pretty easy cure if it hasn't already done some damage. But most of your systems are able to sort of regenerate. Only
Sounds
some
like a-
things. Yeah, if it
Sounds like a really bad solution, honestly.
if
like,
it's not, well,
it's
what
like
else are you
the
gonna do?
chemotherapy. Like, I know a bit of chemotherapy.
If you have bad gut flora, what are you gonna do? You have to kill it. You have to get rid of it somehow. How are you gonna get rid of
What
it?
do you mean, kill it? No.
You just have
No,
to get
I wouldn't
rid of
say-
it somehow.
You froze again.
No, not me. First time.
Oh my god, I've had the fucking speech of my life and you froze again. I
Well,
was saying that healing is never the solution.
okay, well, you have to
You
get it from in your gut to out of your gut. So how are you going to just
no,
convince it to leave?
no. You just create such create such
At least there were no drop frames. It can't calculate them
Okay.
if there are none. It's because it's a percentage of drop frames. So if there are no frames,
Okay. I don't think I can finish my thought because you're gonna freeze again.
yeah, I mean, we got to end this thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess this was very unlike most end of year, most year in review videos.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, the next year is gonna be fun. So
Yeah, I agree. It'll
we're
be
just
good.
preparing for it. We're
Yeah.
preparing you for it,
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, I'm not going to like the political
buckle
ads.
up.
No, nobody in the U.S. is going to like the. Not going to like the political
Buckle
ads.
up.
No, nobody in the U.S. is going to like the political ads because they're going to go on forever. You're going to get spammed with texts, emails, phone calls, YouTube videos. You know, you're going to have like politics on the brain if you like. It could be a really good year to unplug. I would never say that. I would never say like unplug. I mean, who would do such a reckless thing? Unplugging? Oh man, that's yeah, maybe that's incentive to keep covering space weather. So, and any
So
any
let's
advice?
just wish everyone a happy new year and like survive through fucking 2024.
Hey everybody,
It's gonna
don't
be
die.
rough. It's
Don't
gonna
die.
be rough. Yeah, just
I don't know. It's nothing's gonna suddenly improve, you know. But like civilization's not gonna suddenly end, pretty much. I mean, barring
yes.
some, it's very unlikely. You know, one of my favorite arguments
No,
for this one.
no, not very unlikely, my bro. It's not gonna end. Period.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I guarantee it.
one of my favorite arguments for why isn't civilization going to end came from Scott Adams, and I can't really watch Scott Adams very much. He's such a Trump cultist. It's kind of hard, but you know he made a brilliant statement because he said, "Folks, civilization's not going to end, and here's why. I'm going to tell you why. You know." Oh, now we've got ads. Nice timing. Okay, so Scott Adams is like, I'm going to tell you why civilization's going to end. While I prepare to do so, why don't you leave comments and maybe you can guess why civilization's not going to end? Because I've got a very valid reason why it's not going to end. It's because most people don't want it to. What do you think, Eugene? You think that's a good observation there?
I actually agree. You know what? Because I think the same. Like, if I make the thing you know about, I think civilization would end, and
But a new one would be born, perhaps, at the same time, right? Sometimes you have to, you know, kill to make room because nature abhors a vacuum. So sometimes you have to exploit this property of things trying to reach static equilibrium, Eugene. You know?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Sometimes you have to burn the forest down so that a new one can form.
I'll just never tell anyone how to do it. That's how I would handle it. If I think it would. But I honestly think it would destroy the society. So now I'm more and more skeptical about telling
but that doesn't
anyone.
mean that it's not going to lead to a better society in rapid succession. I mean, look, centralism is needed. It's not needed. I mean, you could have the whole world can just be a bunch of little tiny autonomous communes.
Dude, are we live again?
the whole world could just be a bunch of little autonomous communes, like the guy on Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail. You know, Dennis.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. Can you hear me?
Are we live again? That's
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought we were still intimate in our,
No, it's still live. There's allegedly 10. According to one thing, there's 10 viewers. I see two different sources that claim there are 10 viewers. But
well,
yeah,
then
we should definitely.
we're not gonna discuss our little thing.
No,
Yeah.
I've spent decades having access to all kinds of people's personal health information and so on. So there's no vault like me. I've worked in medical records departments, and I've seen it all in terms of classified information.
I think you have to talk to your listeners now.
I even had the TSA even tried to hire me. So I've got security chops upon. I even have a national security clearance. So
oh my God,
Is there some comment or something? Like, what's up?
No, I just think you're wasting time of everyone.
You're right, because I got to end this stream. So, hey, viewers, thanks for tuning in. Also, make sure that you go subscribe to this guy, Eugene the Philostopher, for being such a generous guest to the show. Of course, he also makes the weekly Ask a Particle Physicist segments, so make sure you go subscribe to his channel right here. Maybe, this one just came onto YouTube. I see some great photoshopping there. I was looking at that thumbnail earlier and wondering if I might be able to guess the website from which it was obtained, but I'll save that for a different video perhaps. But yeah, it's hey, Happy New Year, Kimberly. And Happy New Year to all the rest of you. Of course, I'll be saying that for the next 48 hours, maybe? I don't know. But yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, babies. Happy New Year. It's 35 minutes for me. Whatever is the time for you. But yeah, have fun in 2024. See you later.
Bye, viewers.